Understanding umbrella insurance. Welcome to this week's Elements in Focus. I've got Grant Sullivan, our wonderful partner and advisor in our Indy office. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is where myself or Grant and one of our team members will cover our 5 critical elements on a weekly basis, going through what you can see on the screen as starting with your life after work, all the way down to legacy planning. The topic today, though, is risk management and life happens. And so we're going to talk about umbrella insurance. It's actually raining out in Indiana at the time of this recording. May not be when you're watching this, but we're going to get into what umbrella insurance is and maybe the reasons you should pursue having it. So Grant, turn it over to you, sir.
Absolutely, Aaron. Thank you so much. And so as we talk through this, remember, folks, umbrella insurance is just kind of what Aaron said it is. It's an overarching umbrella, a protection strategy that often gets overlooked, but really can be one of the most cost-effective layers of financial security we can add to anyone's situation. So first and foremost, Grant, Aaron, you're talking about this umbrella. What is an umbrella policy or umbrella insurance? And really, to put it simply, it's an extra layer of liability protection that really stacks or sits on top of existing home and auto policies. Think of an umbrella policy or carrier like an umbrella you're carrying on that proverbial rainy day, which, as Aaron said, is not so proverbial for us right now. And what it does is it steps in when the storms get bigger than you expect. So, for example, if you're involved in a car accident or some other incident where you're found legally responsible, and your standard insurance coverage isn't enough. A great example: I have a family right now. Their daughter, unfortunately, was texting and driving, hit another insured automotive driver, and now they're having to use their umbrella policy because their liability coverage that was on the additional auto policies isn't enough to meet the damages, etc. So essentially what happens is the umbrella policy kicks in to cover all that additional cost. This often includes things like the medical bills. So in the story I just gave you, that's one of the key considerations. Property damage, legal fees. It even covers certain claims like libel or slander that other typical policies don't cover. So why is the umbrella insurance important? Well, from all the things we just said earlier, but also the simple answer is that lawsuits today are expensive and they're unpredictable. We live in a very litigious nation. Many people don't realize just how quickly that legal and medical costs can stack up. And if the liability limits are exhausted, anything beyond that comes out of those costs are now coming out of your personal assets. So think of savings, investments, future income, etc. And so the umbrella policy really helps ensure and prevent any type of accident or incident from actually reaching into some of your more personal other assets that could actually essentially set you back long term financially. So let's talk benefits. So umbrella coverage is really affordable. It's surprisingly affordable, especially to cover such large limits that our other policies can leave wide open or exposed. So for a relatively small annual premium, you get substantial outcomes and benefit, oftentimes $1 million at a time, or even additional to that. It also provides broader coverage that your other policies, just again, like we said, keep that hole open on. So it's important to offer coverage at a low cost, and it really provides peace of mind for the carrier. So who should be considering an umbrella insurance? So while many people think umbrella insurance is only for the wealthy, really in truth and in part, it's smart for anyone that has any assets to protect themselves with something known as known as the umbrella policy. So homeowners, parents of teenagers who drive, pet owners. Yes, I have seen white case papers where umbrella policies have been triggered because a pet attacked another pet, or worse, another human being. Landlords, people who entertain guests frequently, anyone with significant savings or future income potential. You protect yourself with that type of policy. If you interact with the world, really, if you drive a car, you own a home, or you just have people over at your residence, you have liability exposure. So umbrella insurance really helps reduce that dramatically. So really for us, Aaron, in closing the conversation, umbrella insurance is a simple, affordable way to strengthen your financial security and safety net. It adds that extra protection, broadens your coverage, and essentially shields you from what would be a litigious environment. So for most households, it is one of the smartest, most cost-effective risk management tools available. And we often tell families, Aaron, as you've said many times in these videos, It's something you don't just buy and sit in the shelf to collect dust. You reevaluate it every single year or every 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say on umbrella insurance, Aaron, is there anything you would add to that?
No, the big thing is, it's probably one of the most underutilized forms of insurance.
Mhm.
We have conversations in the office here at FEG, and a lot of times we are talking to people about umbrella coverage and letting them know that it's an option out there. And as you mentioned, the affordability of it. It's starting to get more expensive, but in the past, it's been very reasonably priced, cheap for the most part for the protection that it provides. So, nothing other than that, Grant. We evaluate that here in the office, and the way that we try to evaluate it is just on how much of the asset base that we're trying to protect. So, if you have a $500,000 house, you've got a $500,000 brokerage account, you've got a business interest. Let's say that it adds up to $2 million. We might suggest that you buy a $3 million umbrella policy just to cover incidentals and inflation over time. So that's how we would look at it, evaluate it. It's an important piece of our risk management because life does happen, and it happens out of normal circumstances, and you're trying to react to those situations versus being proactive. So
Yeah.
that's all, Ed.
Yeah. Well, and folks, if you want to talk to any of us about this, please feel free to reach out. 800-928-4001. For those of you that are already families of the Financial Enhancement Group, we go through these discussions. If it's something that you haven't had evaluated or your current advisor has not talked to you about this, please call us. Because this, again, is a very important piece of coverage that is often misunderstood and rarely looked at. So thank you for the time. Aaron, it's always good to do these with you. Appreciate all of you who have watched these. And my friends, have a happy holiday.